I was watching this video, this guy discussing hazing in fraternities, right? We discussed the psychological trauma that they cause, the just mental and physical abuse that they induce under the guise of hazing. The older men who are complicit in this behavior, who actually acquiesce and follow this behavior even after graduating and going through the same thing. It didn't dawn on me because I grew up very sheltered how easily people are, how more inclined people are to react with a sense of violence once they reach a position of power, right? And you would think, after seeing how people react in this government, that it would be aware to me, but it didn't. It didn't click for me until I watched the video. I'm like, oh no, particularly men. Not saying women don't do the same thing, but I've seen an abundance of men in examples to show that if you put somebody in a position of power, they are more inclined to demonstrate any form of power games on anybody, and they tend to pry on naivety. And the main man in the video talking about the fraternities and the hazing, he was a 19, 20-year-old boy talking about he was taken away in one of the older pledge members' houses, and alumni from the school, 40, 50-year-olds, flew into town to join in on the hazing process. Older 40, 50-year-old men with sons or children potentially in the same age as the boys that they're inflicting pain on came into town to do the same thing to them. It doesn't make sense to me on why somebody in a position of power would even do such thing even after they banned it. Like, we're not banned it, but someone made it legal after people kept dying. Because fraternities, if you go across the history, there's a long history of people dying trying to participate or participating in hazing. A long line of people die. So you would think, knowing this and knowing the position you have, these people would choose the better path. But no, you give somebody power, they're more inclined to do whatever the fuck they want with it because they have power. You can't stop me. You can't strip me of it. Right? Then because you can't strip me of this, I'm going to react in the same way I want to. So he did another thing where he said in the video where they would buy all the food for the house. Right? They buy all the food, and the older members would eat all the food in the house while ridiculing the younger members who haven't even pledged yet. In what world is this not cultish? In what world does this actually seem reasonable? Because I remember I seen a guy at the gym. I don't know what fraternity he was. And he had this branding on his arm. I'm pretty sure it was a horseshoe. Not like an actual horseshoe, but it was like the sign. I don't remember the sign. I probably try to put it on screen. And I saw it. I didn't have any opinion, I'm cool. I'm gonna let it rock. But that nigga looked like a slave to me. Having this shit, it was big. He was a big guy too. So having that big ass logo on his shoulder looked like he could lift the earth. Having that big shit on his shoulder looked like he got branded as a slave. And it didn't look new. He didn't look young either. He looked like, well, not young, but he didn't look like it was fresh. He didn't look like he was like 20. He got 9. He looked like 27, 28, 29 even, with that branding on his shoulder. It just does, fraternities does not make any sense to me. But I saw my dad with a fraternity, so my understanding was they didn't make him do anything crazy. You know what I'm trying to say? He has it in the back of his car. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm not gonna say it for reasons, but I'm like, okay, that's cool. Now learning about it, I'm more inclined to ask my dad, what did they make you do to join this fraternity? Because I'm not sure. I'm sure not every fraternity participates in hazing. But from what I've heard in my own personal experience with my teachers who are in fraternities, in a video discussing hazing in black fraternities, I'm more inclined to believe my dad got hazed. And my dad is not young. So I want to know what the hell they made that 50, almost 6, he's 60 now, but when he joined, he was like 58. What they made that 50-year-old man do. And I'm not saying I'm going to act out on anything. I'm soft. But I genuinely want to know what did they make him do? because it seems very predatory in what they do. And I know people speak about the predatory loans that people can take out at the age of 18, and that's cool. But with power, you're always going to find somebody to prey on. That's just how it is. Power is for someone to be in a position of power means that they are a predator. They are a predator, meaning there is prey out there for somebody to take. And in the context of school and college and things of that nature, it is very common for young students who buy into the American dream, saying, "Yeah, if I go to school and get a college and get a good degree, I'm going to be able to get a job," and things of that nature. They're more inclined to believe in this and ride along and acquiesce or follow along with everybody else and join the lead and take out 60, 70, $80,000 in debt to pay for this degree. My dad, a good amount of the adults I know have student loan debt. My dad is probably like $78,000 of student loan debt. He's a grown man. So I can imagine what a 20-year-old is thinking going through college and is following the American dream. Like, you have to go to school to be successful. And I have to get this degree. And I have to follow this path that's set before me to get to success. Only for them to get $70,000, $80,000 debt to realize, oh yeah, I can't get hired because the job market is fucked up. So the dream I just was sold to and I followed along ended up ruining me. My dad, he's fortunate enough to do this for my older brother, that my older brother hasn't taken out any loans at all. My dad has been able to pay for my brother's schooling, and I'm very thankful to God that he's been able to do that. And I hope and I pray that my dad can continue to do that, because it doesn't necessarily make sense on how a 19-year-old can walk into a bank and say, "Yes, I need a loan for $20,000." This 19-year-old can't even pay a credit card bill. We can go take out a loan for $20,000 under the guise of paying for school. Because realistically, what is the money going towards? Because I know you got to pay for housing, right? The housing is not a problem. I understand why housing is expensive, because the housing and food is expensive. I understand that, right? Because you're buying a whole bunch of food. You have to feed thousands of people a day. So I understand why food is expensive and housing is expensive. The tuition does not make any sense to me, because I could be very wrong on this, but the material that is being taught has not progressed enough for the amount that is paid to increase the amount that it has. So what the fuck is the money going towards? I would assume it was to renovations, but that's not true, because there are still dorms that are not the best. My brother's school, he goes to an HBCU. I ain't gonna say the school, but some of the buildings look like jailhouses, and yet the amount that my dad has to pay has increased. Where the fuck is the money going towards if niggas is living in jailhouses still? It doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, people in power or people in any position of power will find somebody to prey on, because that's the system of power we have established. In a normal world, if you have power, you're going to have people under you. But that does not mean you have to devour it and you have to punish everybody who's under you. That's not saying you don't punish anybody, of course. There's certain people who need to be punished, there's certain people who need to be devoured. It's prey. Prey and predator. That's how it normally goes, right? Ecosystem, that's how it goes, right? But that does not mean every single thing needs to be killed. And I understand we mimic the animal kingdom, where there's kill or be killed, right? But we have more reasoning than that. We do not need to follow animalistic tendencies or behavior and apply that into a real world setting. Big dog, we have brains. We can reason with each other. Why the fuck is college $80,000 a year? In-state tuition for the college I want to go to in-state is $30,000 a year. 30,000 a year. And I'm not going to a big college. No. HBCU, which that's a problem. HBCUs is a problem because they're underfunded, but that's not another problem. Any of the other colleges in my area does not offer my program that I want to go to, architecture. And the only one that does is HBCUs, and HBCUs are heavily underfunded, heavily underfunded. So an in-state tuition that should possibly be 20,000 is 31,000, 34,000. That's in-state tuition, not even out-of-state tuition. The in-state tuition I have to burden, me and my dad will share, is my brother's out-of-state tuition. And the guy I've been referencing all video, he realized that while making this video, he was going to get ostracized from his fraternity. He knew he was going to get ostracized from his fraternity because you cannot speak on fraternities in a demeaning fashion because they follow culture's tactics. Demeaning the fraternity means demeaning your brothers, letting your brothers down, feel like you're doing something that's taboo. And for all intents of the word, I don't give a fuck. I won't do that because they'll find me. But I thought of joining a fraternity, but now I am so good off every single fraternity under the sun, and I would somewhat push all my friends. I'm gonna try and push all the people I know from say that they want to join fraternity. Yeah, I'm gonna push them. I'm gonna push them far away because is the amount of people who join a fraternity compared to the amount of people die from a fraternity small? Yes, sure, yes. Whatever that small percentage is should not be a percent in the first place. The amount of people who've been seriously injured, if not died, trying to join a fraternity should not exist.